All right, which one's next?
We're looking at Dylan's pick, this next one.
Eight-Legged Freaks, Jackson?
Yeah.
Okay, so Eight-Legged Freaks is a story about some spiders, in case anybody was confused what had 8 legs and were in fact freaks. So we start in the movie with this, like, scientist guy. He's in a cabin, his, like, research cabin or whatever. He's got this child with him, and he's researching spiders, and,
Is he?
Yeah,
I think he's just a spider enthusiast. I don't think he's researching them.
He was feeding them some shit to make them
Yeah,
bigger.
so I guess what I should start with beforehand is, in fact, that there was a guy driving a truck and a barrel flies off into, like, this pond area, and it just infects the pond, and we're like, oh, that's probably gonna be something. Again, the scientist guy's like, yeah, I've just been feeding them these crickets, and they're growing to a humongous size. And then they accidentally leave one of the cages up. It's a tarantula cage. The tarantula gets out. The child
This
leaves.
is way too in-depth.
It absolutely
for
is.
this movie.
This sets up for how this tarantula bites the guy, and he goes crazy. He starts knocking over all the cages, and the spiders escape. And so later on, we're like, oh my gosh, these spiders are growing huge. And so then eventually people start dying. Pets start disappearing. People start dying. And they're like, we gotta get to the mall. That's the safe place. We can hold up there. And people just keep dying. They eventually escape to the caves. And they find, like, the nest. They find all these people cocooned up. And then they're like, these caves are full of methane. We can ignite them and kill all the spiders at once. So they do that. They put some matches in, like, a little light bulb thing. They turn on the power. The guy saves, like, his grandma or whatever. We don't actually know who this lady is in relation to this guy. Saves her. They ride out on this dirt bike. The whole thing explodes, and it's all over. The end.
Alright, so, like, the plot of this movie is pretty goofy.
Yeah.
And the whole point of it is, like, to have these, like, wacky antics around the fact that these, like, big old spiders are invading things. But the spiders look so bad, so tremendously bad, that it's impossible to take anything seriously.
Yeah.
I was going to say, and the movie falls very, very flat because of that.
I was going to say, in terms of flat, I think one of the, like, the genres that make absolutely zero sense to me at this point in time is when you combine horror and comedy. So far, I think the only movie that I've watched that successfully pulls that off is Scary Movie. Anything else outside of that...
Those aren't really even horror at all.
Yeah, exactly. That's the issue here, Nico. It's just like, you don't want to laugh and be scared at the same time. It's like, choose an avenue. I think this movie could have very easily been a decent horror movie if they just decided to not put the funny antics in it, because you're either laughing and then you get scared and it kills the comedy, or you're scared and then something funny happens and it kills the horror. And I just don't understand that formula whatsoever.
I mean, there was basically no comedy even really in this movie, though, is the thing.
Yeah, it was almost implied comedy. Like, there was a part where they were in the mall, and the spiders were, like, breaking in, and, like, the cop people are ready, and they turn around and look at the people, they're like, well, get ready, and then everybody's like, oh, yeah, I guess we should do it, and I'm like...
Yeah, there are a few moments like that where it's like, okay, yeah, I guess they're trying to tell a joke here.
Yeah, so...
But like, for the most part, first of all, they're unsuccessful basically every time they do that. And second of all, if they're trying to do it like any more than those super obvious moments, you just don't notice it. Yeah,
they truly did not. It just kill. Like I said, I think horror comedy combination just kills the movie in general. I don't think it's a great combination ever. I think this is the second one because I think Mars Attacks was also a horror comedy.
We
also
watched Cabin in the Woods, which I think was pretty successful with it.
Yeah, that one was a good one, but like. It was more, I think the effects pulled it through, to be honest. Anyway.
Sure. I think the only scene in this movie where I'm like, oh, this is reasonably entertaining was when the dirt bike kids were running away from the jumping spiders.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was serviceable, I guess.
That was decently entertaining for me. And that's about the only scene where I was like, oh, that was kind of fun.
Yeah, from what you can remember from that movie, I'm sure.
Yeah, unfortunately, like... I've heard that this movie is, like, really, really fucking bad, but, like, for me, it just didn't even, like, really leave much of an impact at all. Like, when you look at something like Waxwork, like, that movie's bad, but it's entertaining at the very least. This movie's just kind of fucking dull. I just don't really feel much for it whatsoever.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. It had big spiders going for it, and that's probably about it. I think I ended up telling you guys, like, halfway through the movie, now that the spiders were practically comically large, I think because like I don't like.
Yeah,
spiders.
you were getting a little spooked early on, Dylan.
Yeah. Then once they grew to large proportions, the effect kind of wore off. I don't know how that works, but the spiders looked goofy. I don't know. I agree with Jackson.
Would you say this film successfully cured your arachnophobia, though?
Not at all.
Bummer.
I think it was proven at the start of this when you were doing the thing you chose to do for some god-awful reason.
Don't just say that, Dylan. Tell the people exactly what I did. I showed him a little spider.
It wasn't a little spider. That was a big spider.
It was a big spider because the picture, it was a super close-up picture.
It was big in my mind.
He really thought the spider was as big as my head.
Anyway, do we have anything else significant to say about this movie? I'll take that as a no.
Jackson, what are you rating this movie?
Yeah.
Me first. I'm starting off with a bang. D-.
Yeah, I expected that. Fair.
I'm not going quite that low, but I am going pretty low. I'm giving it a D. D for dirt bike.
There we go. Not for some kind of scientific name for a spider.
Yeah, I'm also giving it a D-. This one wasn't very good.
I'm roughly in the same ballpark. I gave it a C-.
That's a bit higher of a ballpark.
And I know, but at a D overall.
Okay.
There we go. I think that's my new lowest.
Yeah, no, I initially wasn't even gonna rate this movie that low, but just thinking about it more, it's like this movie doesn't fucking do anything.
It really doesn't.
Of interest to me whatsoever.
It kind of had the same. It tried to follow the same plot as like Evolution, I think, but I think Evolution did a much better job.
Evolution is incomparably better than this movie in almost every way.
Yeah.
And that movie still sucks.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's Eight-Legged Freak.